All right, fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net, and to our Patreon patrons and our YouTube subscribers, thank you so much. You're getting it real time. To our Amazon Prime customers who are smart enough and diligent enough and industrious enough to link their Amazon Prime accounts to their Twitch Prime accounts, really easy, thereby sticking it to Amazon, getting something free that you've already paid for, that they're willing to pay for. We're also going to pay for that. So if you please can remember to re-link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account, we get paid for that.
This episode of Pachter Factor is brought to you by DeShazer Ryan Realty. Right now, Doug DeShazer has beautiful lots available adjacent to Koocanusa Lake in northwest Montana. Pull up your RV and access the hookups, or build your own construction. Either way, you have access to world-class fishing, hunting, boating, swimming, biking, hiking, and the internet. No matter where you're looking to buy, make Doug DeShazer your real estate consultant at 406-291-1643. That's Doug DeShazer at 406-291-1643.
Hey, fellow babies. Today's question from Patreon, from Tarma. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, just bombed, in monumental fashion. Yet WB Games stated it will continue to focus on creating other games like it and move away from creating big budget single-player games. Is this the right move? The Batman Arkham games and Hogwarts Legacy sold very, very well. Why would WB make this decision? I don't think that WB is Dave Haddad. I think Dave Haddad is doing what WB parent company Warner Discovery is telling him to do. So Warner Brothers Discovery is looking at games as a way to support movie licenses, and I think they're committed to the Suicide Squad brand. I don't think the Suicide Squad is as fun to play as Batman is. There are characters that just don't make any sense in a video game. Why do I want to be Harley Quinn? Like, what's she do? Shoot people? Like, whatever. So I frankly think the movies are kind of a bad idea too, and I've seen both Suicide Squad movies. I thought both were bad. The second one was better than the first one. But I think Warner Brothers Discovery has Disney envy. I think that they have Marvel envy. And I'm saying this as a DC Comics collector. And I made the affirmative decision in the 1960s to focus on DC at the expense of my Marvel collection because I thought DC was the bomb and I thought Marvel was stupid. So my comic book collection is probably worth $15,000 maybe. If I had the same number and vintage and condition of Marvel comics, it'd be worth $200,000 or $300,000 because I'm an idiot. I picked the wrong horse. I'm a big DC fan. I mean, I literally have like Justice League 1. I mean, I for real do, in pristine condition, but it's probably worth $300. As opposed to Avengers 1 is probably worth $10,000. So I get DC, and I love DC characters, and I still don't think they're very good in video games. And I gotta say, I did not like Batman as a character in a video game until the Arkham games. Like, I just felt like button smash, whatever. Those games are just well done. They were fun to play. And again, I didn't like Spider-Man as a character. I just thought big deals, flinging webs, except the Insomniac games are great. So I really think having a studio that gets the gameplay right and makes it fun for the consumer is awesome. But do you want to be Aquaman, and swim? Like, no. Like, oh wow, he's a fish. Who cares? So, I honestly think that I would think Dave Haddad is like the most capable executive in all of video game land. He's amazing, but he works for Warner Brothers Discovery, and he has to do what the boss says. And I'll give you a Dave Haddad story because he's an awesome dude. And I saw him at the Summer Games Fest last year. So thank you, Jeff Keighley, for making David Haddad show up and talk to me. Right then, HBO changed its name to Max. They went from HBO Max to Max. HBO was the original. Cinemax was a brand. They merged that and called it HBO Max, and then they just went to Max. And I said to David, How does it feel to work for the dumbest management team ever? You erode the value that took 50 years to build of the HBO brand. What an amazing brand. And you just did it in one fell swoop and switched to Max. And he actually defended them. So if anybody from Warner Brothers Discovery is watching this, David is a loyal soldier, and he sucked it up, and he told me I was wrong, which is a hard thing for anybody to do, but David did it. And he was telling me, no, HBO, that connotes racy content, and Max works in Middle America, and he gave me this whole corporate line because he actually read the memo you idiots wrote. So David defended you. I still think the Max brand is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and wiping out HBO is dumb. But David is a loyal soldier. So that tells me that if David is told to make a Suicide Squad game, they're making a Suicide Squad game. And however bad it bombed, it probably wasn't, I didn't play it. It probably wasn't that bad a game. It was just like, it's bad subject matter. So that's like so consistent with if you have bad subject matter, it's sort of like, if you remember Psychonauts, right? Probably one of the best games I ever played, but the subject matter was weird and quirky and odd, and the game just didn't sell well. And Psychonauts 2 too. It's like, if you have the wrong subject matter, and I'll give you an even better example. Ingress. Did you ever play that? I thought it was really good. I didn't stick with it. But, oh my God, let's reskin Ingress and call it Pokemon Go. Oh my God, billion a year later for 5 years, or 8 years. Like, oh my God. So if you get the right subject matter and marry it with the right gameplay, it works. If you have bad subject matter, it's doomed. And so I think Suicide Squad, I think Shane just pointed out that the game was actually pretty good. It just, everybody hated it. I think that Warner Interactive does a great job making games. Like, their studios are great. And I think David is a good corporate soldier, and he will support the movie efforts, and they're committed to the Suicide Squad brand. And maybe it'll work next time. I don't know. We'll find out. I talked about this in an earlier episode about when I talk about how Sony made a mistake with games as a service in every game. I think the guys who are bad at games as a service, and Warner Brothers Games is among them, they all think it's easy, and it's not. And adding a free-to-play component to a purchased game is a delicate balance, because the person who bought the game wants everything for free because they paid for it. And so you have to bolt on something they didn't get in the game that they don't expect to get in the game. So the two good examples of that are bolting on FIFA Ultimate Team, where I'm collecting players and I can mix my team and do all sorts of different things to play multiplayer, or bolting on Grand Theft Auto Online, where I have a gang and tasks, and we can go accomplish things that aren't in the core game. Then people think it's fair. Then they're okay with it. How hard is that to do? I just gave you two examples. I don't know that there's a third. There is, but there's not 10. It's really hard to do. And so even games like Call of Duty that, before Warzone, they had Call of Duty Blackout. They tried to do that to create this free-to-play experience that required you to buy the game, and people hated it, and there was no revenue. So they just reskinned it, relaunched it, tweaked it, Warzone standalone free, and it worked. That's Activision. There's very few examples of that. Apex Legends is that. So the answer is Warner doesn't know how to do it yet. They're experimenting. They're not getting it right. They will get it right eventually. Ubisoft will get it right eventually. But it's not easy. If it were easy, we'd all be doing it, and we'd all be billionaires, and we're not. That's it for me, fellow babies. Thanks for joining us on Pachter Factor. If you're a Patreon patron or a YouTube subscriber, thank you. If you are not a dope and you're not lazy and you've linked your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account, you have stuck it to Amazon. Good for you. Thank you. It was easy to do. If you haven't done it in a couple months, you have to relink it. So please remember to relink it. And I promise I will tell everybody how smart and industrious you are rather than how stupid and lazy you are. So be smart and industrious. Link Amazon Prime to Twitch Prime. Stick it to Amazon. See you next time.